Hi everyone, welcome to Bump TV. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you found the channel. Well, let's get started. First, let's just subscribe. Click on the subscribe button and also click on the bell so that you can be notified whenever I upload new videos. I'm glad to see you here. Thanks for tuning in. So let's talk about first thing first. I did want to kind of talk about your resume building in terms of getting your resume together and updated so that you can start job hunting and actually getting yourself out there and getting connected, building your network by having your resume circulated, and hopefully that will eventually land you a position. But we'll talk about steps that will actually lead up to that. But first thing first is to definitely make sure that you have a resume that is capturing your skills, your experience and background, and what you will eventually bring to the table to that next employer. All right. So I know sometimes, depending on your level of experience, the resume can be about 2 pages, but a lot of times it can be summed up to 1 page. So a resume doesn't necessarily have to capture every single thing that you've done throughout your employment history. It really should just capture some relevant points, and then based on those points, I think if the resume is well written and some of the keywords are chosen, I think for the most part the resume will get you the interview. And a lot of times, it's that first few lines on your resume. It could be just a quick summary in terms of what you're looking for, your objective in terms of, okay, I am a professional looking to bring such and such number of years to the industry and contribute to the growth of the company and learn and develop my skills. Something brief, but something that's somewhat captivating that will actually get the employer to actually be motivated and get a sense that you are capable of doing the position, or at least captivate their interest so that they can invite you for an interview. So, what does that really look like? Well, at some point, I definitely want to get a few samples uploaded so that you'll have an idea of what a bad resume looks like versus what a good resume looks like. I definitely want to do a compare and contrast so that you'll have a visual to go by. Okay? So, in terms of your resume, I definitely want to kind of give you some key points in terms of what you can do to upgrade your resume, or at least update it with some relevant information. Um, Definitely you want to highlight your work experience, and you want to highlight some of the things that are extremely relevant. You want to highlight some of your contributions, and how do you do that? Um, if you have about 10 years of experience in a specific industry, you definitely want to make sure you highlight some of the key points um, that the employer will be looking for. If it's a financial related position, then you want to have a lot of numbers, how you may have decreased waste management, how you may have increased productivity in terms of percentage. You increased it by 15%. You manage maybe about 8 to 10 staff members. You were able to promote 2 people to management. See, all those are numbers that will, um, I guess, effectively highlight some of your experience, and those are relevant numbers that you definitely want to pinpoint throughout your resume. And It's kind of putting value to what you've done. And a lot of times when employers see the resume with some of those numbers, it captures their attentions. It's one of those things where, if you see that the candidate improved sales by 50%, yeah, well, that's great. You definitely want to kind of bring them in to see what it is that they actually did to be able to grow sales by 50%. Someone like that you definitely want to bring into the office to meet them, to kind of um, brainstorm or, you know, find out what it is that they actually did to get increased sales by such a large number. So those are key things that you definitely want to mention on your resume. I'm trying to read my cheat sheet here to kind of make sure that I give you some important notes in terms of what to do to update your resume. Um, if you've taken courses online, you want to make sure that you have those listed on your resume in terms of certifications that you may have, in terms of, even if it's not a certification, but courses that you've completed that could actually be relevant to the position. If it's a financial related position, it could be that you took a recent finance course, or an accounting level, um, high level course where it's going to speak of relevant and up to date experience that you will have. It might not be something that you've used in your current position, but definitely the fact that you've taken some training or you've gone through a certification program, that will show that you have up to date experience and definitely relevant. You want to make sure that your resume is formatted correctly. And what does that look like? Of course, you're going to have the summary or objective on top. You want to make sure you have, you can highlight some key skills as well, maybe about 4 to 6 on top of the resume. So that would be the next paragraph in terms of highlighting some of your skills. And then following that could be your experience, the number of years that you spent at such and such accounting firm, and highlighting bullet points in terms of what you specifically did while you were in that position. And you want to make sure that you use relevant keywords. So based on the position, you want to make sure that some of the keywords, I always suggest my candidates to look online, see what's being advertised in terms of some of the top positions that you're looking for. See who is actually doing the hiring, and what are some of those key skills that they're looking for. And some of those keywords you can take and actually format into your resume. So, for example, since I've been using finance as an industry that's relevant here, so you can honestly look at a financial advisor position, or it could be a finance director position, financial analyst position. And so you look into those positions to kind of see what are some of the keywords that they're using to highlight the position. And some of those keywords you can use to plug into your resume, so that your resume will be up to date and relevant to the positions that you're looking for. Okay, what else? Keep your resume to one page. I mentioned that earlier. If you can, I'm sure there's a way to do it. Regardless of how much you've done throughout your career, if you really want to highlight that you have X amount of years, you can do that on top in terms of within the objective. You can say financial advisor with 15 plus years of experience. So you don't necessarily have to list the last 7 to 10 positions that you've held. You can simply list 3, and 3 of those positions can highlight the last 7 to 10 years. And I'm sure any future employer will recognize that you have more experience, but they're just not listed on the resume. And that's okay, because that's the whole purpose of the interview, to sell yourself, to sell all the things that you've done throughout your career. That's going to really get you to that, to get the second interview or to eventually get an offer. All right, so I think that pretty much covers all that I wanted to share with you. And as I mentioned before, one of the things that I really want to do is to leave you some samples, so that way you'll have a point of reference. You'll have what a bad resume looks like and what a good resume looks like. And as a reminder, you don't necessarily have to list the years that you graduated high school. I recently got a resume where had it not been for the individual listing when they graduated high school, I would have never known how old they were. So of course, naturally, I did the calculation and I was like, oh, okay. So, depending on the position, sometimes the client is not necessarily looking for someone with, I guess, that much experience. Let's say it's a startup, and a lot of times they might be looking for millennials. They might be looking for someone who is fresh out of college, and a lot of times they're not looking for someone who graduated back in the 1980s or 70s out of high school. Even though the number of years of experience can definitely be a major contribution to the company and the position, but they're not looking for that simply because they're not willing to pay that high of a package. So sometimes they might be wanting to start the person with the lowest of the range, not necessarily the top of the range. And that's nothing negative. It's just simply that's where the company is financially. They're trying to make sure that it's a good fit for them, and it's a good fit for the candidate as well. But again, it's just not important to have your years of graduation listed. It's not important for high school. It's not important for college. If you want to list that you graduated from college, that's fine. Just simply put that you got a bachelor's in such and such major, or your master's, whatever it is, but the years are not necessarily as important. Okay? So if you want to validate your experience and who you are and what you bring to the table, just simply do it within the first few lines of the summary or / objective in terms of the number of years of experience that you have. All right. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. And again, don't forget to subscribe. Click the bell icon so that you can be notified whenever I have new videos uploaded. And also, if you do have information that you want to share, feel free to go to bumptvchat@gmail.com and send a few comments or questions or inquiries that you may have. And also, keep in mind that I'm going to have the Calendly link so that you can simply book 15 minutes free consultation. If you do need to have someone review your resume for you for a few minutes, free of charge, definitely take advantage and book a calendar appointment. All right? All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until we talk again, be safe.